Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing good. When I say the word leader, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? I'm sure you start thinking that it's someone at a senior management level at your job, or some sports team captain, or someone from politics, all these things, right? Well, that is the common misconception all of us have about leadership, that the leadership is reserved for people at a senior level and it is not for everyone. That is a very big myth. Leadership is required at every level, whether you're just starting your career or you're starting your own company. Leadership should be practiced and grown at an early stage if you want to be a successful leader sometimes later on. And the first principle of leadership is about leading ourselves. That's right. Only when we are able to lead ourselves, we will be effective in leading others. Otherwise, if you're not able to lead yourself, there's no way you'll be able to lead others at all. And developing leadership skills is one of the most powerful moves you can make to transform your life. And it's not just for your career. I mean, when we say leadership skills, you always think about your career, right? It's not just for your career, it's also about your personal relationships. With your leadership skills, you can improve them as well. And that's because when you are trying to improve your leadership skills, you'll also learn about communications, connections, and also like what this is called emotional intelligence. So you learn about all these things when you're actually trying to get better yourself as a leader. And developing leadership skills also allow you to grow as a person. So now the question that comes to everyone's mind is, how do I develop the leadership skills? How do I start? What are the areas I should concentrate on? So, we had an amazing Peak Impact mentorship session last week about the same topic, where we learned about the important leadership traits all of us should develop and work upon if we want to become successful leaders in our own fields. And today, we are back here with another episode of Uptalks panel discussion with some amazing panelists who have tremendous experience in their field and tremendous leaders in their field, and they'll be adding like their views and their points, and we'll be having a great discussion today. And without waiting further, let me call upon all the panelists. First, I would like to call upon Dr. Nidhi.
Good
Hi,
evening,
Dr. Nidhi.
everyone. Hello, Jayant. How are you?
I'm doing good. What about you? How are you?
I'm also doing well. Thank you.
Yeah, you
So,
can go ahead and introduce yourself.
thank you. So, first of all, thank you so much, Jayant, for having me here. And everyone out there, so as you already know that I am Dr. Nidhi here. I'm a psychologist as well as assistant professor in Jain University, Bangalore these days. And I am working in a field of mental health awareness, especially from last 7 years. And today we are going to talk about such an important aspect of our day-to-day life, being a leader, and leadership qualities. What are they? Are they just for specific people? Are they for everybody? Or do we really need to transform ourselves into being a leader, or what else? So I hope today, today's discussion will help you to understand what are the basic ideas and what are the basic myths. As Jayant already, mentioned in the speech, that every one of us need to be a leader. So I hope you will be getting a lot of value from here today's discussion. Thank you so much.
Awesome, Dr. Nidhi. Thank you so
Over to
much.
you,
Great to
Jayant.
have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let me next call upon Sanjeev. Hi, Sanjeev.
Hi Jen. Hi Dr. Nidhi. How are you doing?
Hello, Sanjeev. We are doing
I'm
well.
doing good. What about you? How are you?
Doing great, doing great. Thank you so
Awesome.
much for inviting me.
Yeah, you can go ahead and introduce yourself, Sanjeev.
Sure. Hello everyone. This is Sanjeev Chaudhary here, and I live here in Bangalore. I have about 24 years of IT experience. I'm working at a leadership position, so I'm really excited to talk about what makes you leader, right? I mean, that's gonna be fun discussing that. Look forward to the
Yeah.
discussion.
Awesome, Sanjeev. Great to have you here. So, and our next panelist is Vineet. I would like to invite Vineet onto the screen. Hello, Vineet.
Hey Jayant, how are you?
I'm doing good. What about you? How are you?
Good, good, good. I'm happy you didn't tell that Vinith gate crashed us. He was not on the flyer and still he's here.
Yeah, I mean, I knew that you really tell that, so I just
Okay.
so
Yeah. So about me, I have almost not as much experience as Sanjeev, but almost 2 decades of experience. And
I would say more than me. Vinay, don't understand.
yeah, almost around, I'll reduce it, 19 years of experience. And it's from corporate life and in personal growth and those I'm in this field since almost last 5 6 years. I'm connected with peak impact mentorships since almost with Vijay almost last 3 years. And yeah, since last 1 year we are running this club called Unlimited Potential Inside. And I'm so passionate about this group, right? Whenever I meet people like Sanjeev, Dr. Nidhi, Jayant, right, who is a host today, so it adds so much of value in my life. And yeah, and that's what I'm sure today again we are going to witness. And I'm so excited about the fact that today again we are going to have an electrifying session. Over to you.
thanks, Vineet. Thanks so much for adding so much details today for this
And we
discussion.
are already feeling charged up.
I know, yeah. So yeah, let's get started then. One of the things I was talking about is whether leadership is just reserved for some people or is it for everyone? Like, I mean, again, like there are some misconceptions around it. What do you guys say about it? Any one of you can go first.
Dr. Nidhi?
Thank you so much. So I would like to, initiate this particular point with the fact that everyone is a leader in itself. And because, we are all are aware that we are leading our life somehow, whether we are identifying it or not. We all are trying to, do the better, do our best, whatever we can. But the point is, most of the time we are not considering ourselves as a leader or as a person who is, leading the life, leading the family, leading the environment, leading the society around us. We always think, okay, leaders are someone else. Leader are somebody else who is out there and who is going to do, big task, or they might be, leading the political party or doing something, big points. But it's not the scenario actually. Whatever we all are doing at our own places, we all are trying to lead our life somewhere, right? First of all, this particular concept has to start with the identification of this fact. Most of the time, we feel, okay, this leadership concept does not belongs to me. This is like this is the thing for somebody else. It is not something with me, and I don't need to listen to it. I don't need to think about it because I am not a leader. But once you start understanding this particular fact, okay, your life is your responsibility, and you have to lead this particular thing. Then miracle starts happening around you, and you always see that, okay, there is some sort of positive point, or positive changes that start happening in your life. So that is my key takeaway from the last session. And upon this point, any one of you can start and talk about.
Yeah, that's a great point, Dr. Nidhi. As you said, like, I mean, the word itself says leading the life. I think we just like ignore that and then say, oh, I'm not a leader. We are actually leading our life. That means that we are a leader in our own life. That's how it should be.
True.
So, Vineet, you want to add something to this?
Yeah, Jayant. So I remember those lines. There's a saying or a kind of amazing line. They say, so there was a guy who said, I am a leader, not a follower. So he said, I am a leader, not a follower. Yeah, unless it's a dark, scary place, then you then you are going first. I will not go first. Basically, whenever challenges come, then you are a leader.
Yeah.
If it is completely good, then I am the leader. Then I can take care. So just on that, on that
Very
one
true.
note, yeah, I think as Dr. Nidhi said, I think we all are a leader in our in some terms, right? And leader is again just an word for what you're doing. Even a housewife who might not be thinking that she is leader, but she is the home minister, right? She actually manages her family and everyone, right?
Yeah.
Or may it be a software engineer who doesn't have anyone behind, but trust me, his manager wants his to work to finish so that his manager gets a appraisal and all that. So
Very true.
I think somewhere we all are leader, and it's important to understand that John Maxwell says there are kind of extreme definitions. John Maxwell says whenever you feel you are a leader, just look back and see how many people are following you. Right? If nobody is following you, then you are just taking a stroll. You are not a leader. So, but actually, we don't understand that there's someone or other is always there to follow you. Right? We don't even know
Exactly.
sometimes who are the people who are following us, and it's just about trying to be aware of about yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, right? And then trying with to connect with those kind of people. I remember in Tom Harris, one of the book, he says that we all have influence of around 1,000 people around us. Every person on this earth has at least influence of 1,000 people, directly or indirectly, right? So, and if you multiply that, it can go to millions, to billions, because it's like that network of neurons, right? So 1,000 can multiply to another 1,000, another 10,000, another lakh. So it's an amazing concept. So we are actually connected with millions of people. But
Wow.
at least let's think about 100 and 1,000. That also is a good start. So yeah, in a way, I think we all are leaders, and it's just about understanding our power, understanding that you all have that third eye. We all have that, Shiva's third eye, right? We all have that power. And actually, in neuroscience, they say, right, you have this prefrontal cortex here, right?
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is like a third eye, right? If you are using that, then all you can actually leverage all your powers and everything. So yeah, that's what I think from the leadership perspective.
And what you added, Vinith, that was mind blowing. Like everyone of us have thousand people, like influence 1,000 people. That is like hard to believe, right? Like anyone like leading an ordinary life, they would say, "Oh, I don't see any 1,000 people around me who I can influence."
Yeah,
But then, like what you say, like makes so much sense. Like we all of us have someone following us, someone who we can influence. So we just
Very
shouldn't think that we are not leaders. Thanks, Vinith. Sanjeev, you want to add something?
Yeah, sure. I think I would like to add to what Dr. Nidhi said, right? I mean, leader is somebody who can lead himself. And when we say lead himself or herself, it's all about how balanced your life is, right? Are you kind of, just focusing on your career and just, ignoring rest of the things like your health, your, family, right? Then it's not a leader, right? So somebody who can lead his life, giving importance to all the aspect of their life, right? Having a balanced life. So, in fact, I'm reading this book called Total Leadership, which talks about, you know, your career, personal development, and community and family, right? So, these are the four things. The better you mix all of them, right? Try to overlap these areas, because if you look at it, one of the thing always impact the other one, right? If you're not really uh, having good health, it will impact your work, right? And if
Exactly.
you are
Yeah.
not really doing very well at work, then of course health will get impacted, or your family will get impacted, because maybe you're short of money, right? So these are all interconnected, and somebody who can really lead his life in a very balanced way, he is the leader.
Exactly. That's those are awesome points, Sanjeev. And what you mentioned, right? All these are interconnected. And this is something we discussed in the PIM session as well last week. Like we discussed a few points as well. And we will go into detail about each one of them. And as you said, like career, health, and then personal growth, and then relationships, all these are like important aspects of our lives. Without like if you miss one of it, or if you're not doing well in one of it, obviously, as you said, all the others will be impacted. So why don't we just go ahead and talk about first? Let's talk about career. How is this like? I mean, how is this an important leadership trait that we should in thinking about career? So, I mean, basically, let us say, I mean, whoever's watching us, maybe they say that, oh, I'm not a manager, I'm not a director, but I'm just a software engineer with 2 years of experience. This doesn't matter to me. So, how do you respond to them? What would you say to them?
Yeah.
Vineet, you want to go first, or Sanjeev?
Yeah,
Sanjeev, you
yeah.
can go ahead.
Go ahead, Sanjeev.
So I think when we talk about career, right, I think it is important that we understand, are we in a right career? And I mean, to be very frank, I think in my generation, when doctor and engineering was the only two option that was forced on you, I decided to do an engineering from IIT. Couldn't get into it. In fact, not even a regular engineering, right? So I had to kind of make some choices. Somehow I landed as a software engineer, but I never thought beyond it, right? That was a time when, taking arts or humanity was considered to be okay, you're not good, that's why you're getting that, right?
Yeah.
Not like
Yeah,
today, where people are really proud about being a historian, or very proud about being a psychologist like Dr. Didi, right? So definitely, I think it is important that you understand what is your strength, and that is where DISC assessment can help you understand your strength area, your way of learning, and what kind of learner you are. What is your communication style? And all of that really helps you decide on where you should be focusing on. And that's how you get into a good career and start enjoying what you're working for rest of your life.
Very
exactly.
true.
Thanks, Sanjeev. And as Sanjeev mentioned, right, the DISC assessment, it is part of what something called Career Impact Report, which we in this PIM we offer all of our students. And which using this, you can actually find out, as Sanjeev was telling, you can find out what is your that niche area, what is your strength, what is your weakness, how you can work on your weakness, how you can improve your strengths. All these things you can find out with this report. So you can know more with on our website later on. So yeah, and thanks Sanjeev for adding those valuable points as well. Like when you should be part of, like, I mean, we should know what is your, if you're in the right career or not. Otherwise it's just that, like in your like it's basically you're just strolling through life, actually not, or do like you're not finding that purpose, I would say.
True.
Just want to
So
add one more point. See, Vijay has said that, okay, maybe you are good in what you're doing today. It may be a comfort zone for you, but is it your passion zone? And that's what I
yeah,
think we all need to find out.
exactly.
Very true.
Just because you're good at it doesn't mean that is your passion. Exactly, that's true.
True. I
So
would
Dr.
like
Nidhi,
to
you want
add
to,
one
yeah.
more. Yeah, I would like to add one more point here. When you guys are talking about, that strength is important to identify, we need to understand the weaknesses and all. We need to find out what are the passionate area, right? But why it is needed. And when you are thinking, okay, as you already mentioned, that, if we are not into our right zone, then we will be just strolling through the life, or we are just dragging ourselves into that particular career. It's just because we have to meet with the day to day things of our life. But the point is, once you start picking on what you actually want, and what you start loving whatever you are doing, that is the time when you start inspiring yourself. And once you are inspired, then people also get inspired from you, right? Because you are doing your work with such a passion that people also will look forward to you. Okay, if I want to do this particular work, this is the right person for which I should go for. or this is my go-to person, or I should do this particular work according to him or her, right? So being a leader, we need to first of all understand, are we on the right track or not? And if we are on the right track, are we enjoying our work, or do we have that much particular passion? Because of that, we could be we are doing justice with our work or not. So I guess this is a very important aspect of being a leader. You should have to be on a right track. So that's
Exactly.
the point.
That's a great point. Awesome point, really. Yeah, I mean, it's always important, right? Like, if you're, I mean, if you should always ask that why are we doing this and all these things. Otherwise, as like, I mean, we have been talking about, like, otherwise you just no point in like going through whatever we are doing.
True.
So yeah, Vinith, you want to add anything here?
Yeah, I think amazing points. What I think Dr. Sanjeev, so Sanjeev gave and Dr. Nidhi gave. I think yes, when Sanjeev told about this purpose, the awareness of purpose. I think that is so. Sometimes I feel some people when they don't have any purpose, somewhere that sense of intensity of that getting something is also lost. It's like and I tell this to them that if nothing else, you can think that at least you are paying taxes, right? So that itself is a good purpose, right? You are paying so much to the government. That is also a purpose, right? So somewhere we all have a purpose, but are we happy? Something we are doing, right? Even if we are in job, you are doing something. But as Sanjeev and Dr. Nidhi pointed out, it's very important to rethink on that, whether this is you these are the days when historians, psychologists, and every all those are real success. It's not about just their dream, but they are making good amount of money also, right? Somewhere we decide a career from a money perspective. That's where I
Yeah,
think people like creative people like Sanjeev and me became engineers, and then all these kind of things, because those were the career at that time. So we thought that was there, but I think CIR's career impact report, right? There are such kind of scientific assessments which we all should go through. And I think we should sometimes talk with Narendra Modi to include this in the syllabus also. That all the students should actually certainly go through.
exactly.
That the first thing is be aware what you really want to do, right? If I'm not clear in my mind what I want to do, then anything I'm doing I'll not be enjoying. I when i when i coach people, when I discuss with them, most of the time I see they are living a good life, they are doing good, but still they are not happy. They're making good amount of
True.
money, they are happy in their relationship, but still they are not happy. And the reason is
Exactly.
somewhere that fulfillment is not coming in, somewhere that feeling of emptiness is there.
True.
And that comes because at the back of the mind, that consciousness is somewhere trying to tell us that you are meant for something else. You might be a
Yeah.
great singer, you might be a great, you can do anything in any age. I heard that one guy finished his PhD in 95 years of age. Last
Yeah.
month I was
Yeah.
hearing that story, right?
Very recent news.
Yeah, very recent news. So you can do anything in any age. So but it's important to understand what exactly you like and what you're doing for your career, for your bread and butter, that can continue, right? For example, I was really passionate about public speaking and leadership and coaching and all that. So since last 7 years I'm full time in my job, but in parallel I'm exploring that in my weekends, in my free time and all that, right? And
Very
so
true.
now today, yeah, so today it's somewhere most of us who have taken some time for 1 year, 2 year, 5 years, they've reached to a point where they are happy in what they are doing, and they when they go back to their work, there also they find a more sense of fulfillment. So very
True.
important to at least identify what you really like. You might not be
Yeah.
able to work full time, but even if you're working for half an hour, 1 hour, at least you have started, and that in itself will give you lots of energy for the whole day. So
Very
yeah,
true.
Exactly.
reinforcing to what Sanjeev and Dr. Niti said, that it's so important to be aware what you really like, and then gradually start giving some time, and maybe in future it can monetize, and it can start giving you money as well, and then you can leave your bread and butter thing.
True. True.
Awesome points. Awesome points. All three of you added. And to add to what Vineet said, like sometimes where people are what Vineet is saying, like okay, you can start doing whatever you're passionate about along with a full time job. They'll be surprised. Oh, I don't have time to do it. That's their that point. I mean, I think like we have done a lot of discussions about time management. We won't go into time management, but then yeah, that is something like we have to identify and then like start working on it, as Vineet said.
And one more point here, when you start investing even half an hour or maybe just 1 hour to it, no, it is actually recharging yourself. It is not something you are investing into. It is not something you are wasting the time. It is some very good investment. You actually recharge yourself and you get so much energy. Okay, you can do your mundane work in your office and etc. And that is how
Exactly.
you come more fresh and more passionate about that thing.
Exactly. That's true. And I mean, if you don't have anything like that, then also it's a problem, because like you're actually stuck in the or something like you're doing, and then you feel stuck. This is some of the one of the things Dr. Nidhi is saying, like where you can become unstuck from wherever you are.
True.
Sanjeev, you were adding something.
No, I think I was just saying that, yeah, that's right, actually.
Okay.
I was not trying to add anything. Maybe I should have
Yeah.
muted myself.
No, no worries. So yeah, let's move on then. I think one of the other aspects what we talked about was about health, right? So
Yeah.
how important is health? Like we all are spending 12 hours in our working every day, and then sitting in one place. Now since you're working from home, we are sitting at one place at a desk for 12 hours working there, and then after 12 hours we'll feel so tired that we'll just go and sleep. We don't even we're not even aware of what we are eating, what we are doing thing like other than work. So how important is health in our career? Is it like just concentrating career enough, or we should be doing something else like with the health as well?
I can
So
see
anyone?
sparks in Sanjeev's eyes. So Sanjeev, go ahead.
Right. Yeah, yeah. No, I can give my personal example here actually on health. Actually, I think to answer in short, health is the most important thing, because if you do not have health, right? If you are not investing in your health, all of that is of no use. Your career, your relationship, your personal growth, whatever it is. I mean, in the life, money that you have earned, all will go in drain if you do not have health, and you will not be able to enjoy any of these things, right? Neither you will be able to enjoy your work, nor you will be able to enjoy the relationship, your family, and all of that, right? If you cannot, you will not able to enjoy your food also.
True.
So definitely, health is one very important aspect, most important. And I have learned it in a hard way, right? I remember when I came back from US, right? I settled in India. That's when I actually, that's when I actually started working in an organization where that was my first time I went into a position where I had to, in a we call it leadership position, right? At that time, I was in a impression that, okay, it means that you have to work 24 by 7. That was my perception about leadership, right? You have to make sure no matter what, you're going to be making sure that everything goes as per plan, right? And that's what I did. And I actually had a lot of challenges with started to having a lot of challenges with my health, because 3 years I was working nonstop, and I started developing back pain and a lot of other challenges I was facing, and that's when I decided to slowly move out of that and start investing in my health, and I started running a bit, and I really started enjoying it. And since then, I have been running, and running is one of my passion apart from trekking. And it's really helped me. I mean, it has helped me in my career. It has helped me in my, relationship. It has helped me in all the aspect of my life.
Yeah.
So,
And whoever's watching today, take this advice from Sanjeev. Sanjeev is like has 23 years of experience at under, as he said, like leadership level. And if he's giving this advice, then it is the most valid advice. So you should take that and then implement it in your lives as well. So, thanks, Sanjeev. And then, as I said, like, yeah, I mean, without health, we are actually like, I mean, basically, health is our body. Like, this is our engine. If you are not taking care of it, then actually, like, whatever we are doing there, like whatever we are doing up here, does not matter.
There
Very
is
true.
one thing that I was reading. I think I don't know whether it was Sadhguru or Sri Ravi Shankar.
Sure,
He
sure.
said that, what is that one thing which will be there with you, you know, all the time, right? And it's your body, right? He said it's
True.
your body because when you are born with your body and you go with the body, right? So make sure that
Yeah,
you take care of it.
Yeah.
exactly. That's awesome.
Uh, I can,
Sure, doctor.
I remember this particular point which Sanjeev just mentioned. This was an article given by Sri Ravi Shankar, and
Ah,
the article's heading was "Who is your real life partner?"
yes,
That was
yes,
the
that's
heading.
right.
Who is your real life partner? Whether it is your parents, life partner, children, friends, whatever it is. That was your body actually. And another point I would like to add: sometimes, by the God grace or by the our parents' efforts, we are having a good life or good health by a decent age. And the point where we start lacking it because we take it as a granted thing. Okay, okay, it
Mm.
will be there. Whatever, it doesn't matter whether we are doing anything or not. And that is the point where things start going out of our hands. So instead of just taking it for a granted, and if you are not ready, like we all are in a certain situation or in a position where we have to be present, we have to be there for others. And if we are talking about being a leader, then it is not just for being there for ourselves. It goes beyond it. We know that there are some people who are accounting on us, who are uh, there, who are waiting just we showed up, or who are just counting on us, our presence. And once we will be coming out, and then they will be taking their own steps and all. So being a leader, it's not just related to you, it goes beyond yourself. So that is the first and foremost part, that you have to take care of your health, because without health, nothing is there. I just Sanjeev already clearly gave me life example of it. So
Yeah,
that's the thing.
exactly. Exactly. As you said, being a leader, and everyone will be following you as well. They'll be looking up to you as an example. If you don't set that example by working on yourself, then you can't expect the people who are following you to do that as well.
True.
So that's really true.
Great.
Vineet, you want to add something?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm not credentialed enough like Sanjeev to talk on health, but still, I'll tell this joke. I think that's that's really good on health. So I remember once Sunanda came when I was actually working at till 6 a.m. in the morning, and she told me that you are at your computer 18 hours a day, never exercise, rely on coffee. What are you writing about at this time? And I said, I'm writing an article on health. So it will be like that if I talk on health. Anyway, it's apart. I think somewhere I feel this body is loaned, right? There's a gap between body and me, right? So this body is loaned by someone. So we have gathered it from the earth and all the five elements that we have. And it's important to take care of it. The moment you take loan, you have to pay EMI, right? So I think those EMI is kind of those exercises, those. So even I think it's very important to be at least aware of what's happening, how health is important for you. For example, I don't do lots of exercises, I don't do any trekking. I don't do any extreme exercises. But what I do is I take care of very basic things. My wife is a nutritionist, so she certainly helps me in that, Sunanda. I don't eat after 7 p.m. So that is one important thing that really helps me to remain fit. So my weight is quite ideal. It was very high 3 4 years back, and there's a community called Game of Thrones. So I think Brajesh really helped me in that community to come to a normal level. And from that time, I'm not doing lots of exercises, but basic yoga and all that I'll do thrice a week, kind of in a week I'll do 2 3 times. But what I'm taking care of is about my food. I take food only when I'm hungry. So generally there's a culture to our food, right? I'll always take breakfast at 8 a.m. 1 p.m. I need to have lunch. I don't follow that completely. So whenever I'm feeling hungry, I'll take some food, and I make sure that I'm not completely full. So there are so many ways that we can remain fit, and of course doing some walk and all that. So I like to hear audiobooks and all that. Then I'll hear my audiobook for half an hour, and then I'll take a walk and do all those things, and that keeps me quite fit. So there are different ways of remaining fit, right? You can go to the extreme where you
Yeah.
want to really want to create your six pack ab and all that, or you want to do something really good. Or at least if you're not doing that, at least try to be fit at a level where your body fat and all this. So last week we had this test whole body. Sunanda does that every 6 months, and everything was fine. My cholesterol level and everything, I was so happy about it. See, I'm hardly doing some exercises, but still I'm fit, right? So it's important to be aware of your health. Somewhere this body is loaned, as Sanjeev and Dr. Nidhi rightly said. Something goes wrong to your body, then you realize that I had this knee issue a couple of years back, 2 3 years back, and I was kind of on wheelchair. That was one time, and when my weight and everything was very extreme. So it's so important to take care of a health. Be aware of the challenges that are there in your health, and then start at least doing basic things, and that's more than enough. Even if you spend 15 minutes daily and you are aware of your food habits, you're aware of not eating too much of sweets, rasgulla and all those things, right? If you're able to control those things, I think it will be taken care of. I remember this formula: three whites, sugar, rice. I don't know. Sunanda says something else. One more white, maida, right? If you avoid those basic things, I
Salt,
think, yeah. So that is,
salt, right?
Salt
yeah.
also, I think. Yeah.
Salt also, right, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Ah,
just that focus on those basic things and start doing. I am surprised when I see somebody having 100 kg and 200 kg, right? That's where you have to actually start working on yourself. Otherwise, it's, I think, growth in your job, growth in leadership, anything is not possible. I've seen people getting rejected in their job because they are kind of very obese, right? Because
Hmm.
as we say, right, they are not they clearly think that if they are not able to take care of themselves, how can they take care of the team and all that, right?
Exactly.
And Sanjay was
Exactly.
pointing out it actually helped in his career growth also. So that way, I think health is. I started with a joke, but I know that health is really important, and we all should take care of it.
I
Over to
just want
you.
to add one thing what Vineet has just mentioned, right? I think, Vineet, you said that you are taking care of your food. And just want to highlight to our audience that, food plays a major role, but more
Hmm.
than the exercise, actually.
Right.
So, especially when it comes to weight, no matter how much exercise you do, if your food is not actually appropriate, then I think it's because 80% of it is food which plays a role than your exercise. And as far as exercise is concerned, you don't have to go extreme. You can just do even 15 minutes of walk. That is more than enough actually to be fit.
Right. Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm in the right direction.
Awesome.
Yay!
Awesome. Thanks, Vineet, and thanks, Sanjeev, for adding so much tips. And then I think, well, again, like whoever's watching, they would have, I mean, if they've noted down, I think they can follow it and then become fit. So thanks so much. And then, yeah, I mean, without like even if you look at all the successful people today, right? Most of them are like fit, like bodily fit. They actually take care of their body, and then that's why they're able to reach that level, that heights, whatever they've reached. Otherwise, it's like lot of. I mean, it's basically like your vehicle; it keeps breaking down. Otherwise, if you don't take care of it. So yeah, that's the most important part, like the health, as all of you added. So yeah, moving on. The next point was about relationship. I think we are a little over the time, but then we can talk about relationships. Like how important is it? Like as a leader, if you are able to, like if you are to reach that level, how important are the relationships in your life? Who wants to go first?
Yeah,
Sanjeev, you
maybe
can
I
go
can
ahead.
go. So, relationship, when it comes to relationship, right? I think I would relate it to like how well you can connect. with the other people. It could be at a personal level at your home, how well you can connect with your wife, your kids, your family, and at a professional level, how well you can connect with your colleagues, your boss, and all of that, right? And and when it comes to relationship, I think connecting is all about understanding the need of a other person, right? Human needs that we talk about, right? So that is very, very important. You should know there are different personalities, and there is a reason, there is a need of somebody who is a security driven person, right? Unless you make him or her feel secure, uh, their love is not going to flow to you. So very important to understand that. And similarly, if somebody is a growth oriented, or somebody who need variety, who want to do different things, like I'll give you example. In my I mean, in one of my, I mean, my company, there was a person who was variety driven. So every time I put him in some project, he will say, "Okay, sir, bore ho gaya main." I mean, I am not liking it after a month or two, right? So you need to know how to really, if you don't know how to engage him, make sure that he complete that also. You will not be able to utilize him properly, right? So it's very important. Being a leader, you understand what your team need is, whether it's a variety, and you need to make sure that he's been given different type of projects, some challenges. Then only he will be happy. It's very, very important.
Exactly, Sanjeev. That's so like you talked about the human needs as well, right?
Yeah.
And that those are the basic human needs that we all need to understand, and that is something it's also being taught as part of the effective communication workshop, which Vijay conducts every 3 months. Like the next session is starting in August, and this is where you learn about these human needs, the basics of connecting. How do you connect to people? As Sanjay was telling, without you, if you're not able to connect, you're not actually a leader. Like if you need to be connecting, so that's very very much important that you need to start connecting to people, and then understand how to connect to people. Basically, you need to understand that, as Sanjeev mentioned. Thanks, Sanjeev. Dr. Nidhi, you want to add anything?
Yeah, I would like to talk about this particular area. When we talk about relationship, it's not always, professional relationship. Your most of the sanity, most of the balance comes from the personal relationship as well. It is very challenging if you are not content in your personal aspect. Then you will not be able to perform well in your professional life. Like most of us might be having, might have this experience that if our boss's mood is not right, right, if he is making tantrum, or he is just saying some random stuff, or he is just showing the aggression, then what we usually say कि okay, घर में कुछ पक्का गड़बड़ हुआ होगा. They must have some khitpit in their home and all those stuff. So that is why he is just lashing out to everybody. So as a colleague, or as a client also, as a employee also, we can understand ki, okay, if the boss is not in the right mood, it means something is happening in the home. So that is how obvious a temperament is. So that is the basic understanding we need to make a balance. Okay, professional relationship, professional work is also important, as well as our personal life is also needed to be taken care of. So whenever we are talking about the relationship, always keep in the mind ki, okay, there should be a balance in the professional life as well as in the personal life. So your
Exactly.
relationship with your spouses also matter, your kids also matters, as well as your employees also matters. So just try to find it out what is the basic idea. As Sanjeev just mentioned ki, okay, there is a need of everybody's, and if you want to need to tackle it, then you need to find out what is the exact communication method, and there are different areas through which you can just focus upon it, like the communication workshop, which is going to start from August, and the other areas, right? Understanding your own personality will also help in this area. So try to
Yeah.
get an idea of that. Only then you will be moving ahead in this arena.
Exactly, Dr. Nidhi. And I love how everything is so connected, right? We started with career and then health and then our relationship. Everything is connected. Like if you miss, and like that's what Sanjeev mentioned earlier, like in the beginning, like how there are four or five things which are all connected. And we are seeing that, like if you, even if you miss, like as Dr. Nidhi was saying, if you miss your personal relationship, if there is something amiss in your personal relationship, that actually affects everything else that is there. So, thank you, Dr. Nidhi, for adding this. Vineet, you want to add something?
Yeah, yeah. I think great point, Sanjeev and Dr. Nidhi. I think and yeah, I think relationship always start with that personal thing, right? If I'm not able to fix the personal thing, then it can cost me a heavy amount. The way Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates are paying right now, right? So they couldn't manage their relationship and that in billions. And even any level of glamour cannot help you, right? See Amir Khan, he got divorced with Kiran Rao, right? So it's so important to focus on this aspect, right? The moment your relationships are not in control, are not in the expected lines, then anything cannot work on top of the platform. That's a kind of basic platform that you have to have. And I think that's where when I think Sanjeev mentioned about this communication workshop that we're going to start in August, Vijay is going to start. I think that's so important that people get, all of us, most of us, been part of it, and we have actually learned from that so much. So particularly I think relationships comes from trust, right? How can the basic thing for any relationship, either there's a relationship with your boss or a relationship with your spouse, right? Somewhere the thing that is the major part that plays is your trust, right? If you trust someone, anything, even if your eyes see something wrong, you know that you trust him, something else might have happened and all that, right? But if there's no trust, right, then even a normal discussion can go completely into haywire kind of discussion, right?
Exactly.
So and that trust is built through conversations, right? If I don't know how to put my words correctly, right? For example, it's a very normal way we start taking our husbands take wife to for granted, wife take husband for granted, right? I'm surprised when I meet people, they have challenges with their relationship, and when I ask him, when did you give a gift to your wife, and they said, I have not even given gift in my whole life. And that's so surprising. They don't plan it for and there are so many special occasions when you have to do that. Rather, in PIM, in particularly this workshop, Vijay clarifies that it's so important to give gift every week to your wife, right? So basically, how to fix your relationship in so many different ways, right? How to fix relationship with your husband, right? So I think this communication workshop is key, wherein you understand the human need of others. The moment you understand your spouse needs, the moment you understand your boss needs, or anyone else, your friends needs, you are able to relate more, you're able to connect more, right? And then the moment you do that, then you are able to build that trust. And then coming back, the moment you have that trust back, then you can create great relationships, right? Then you don't have to be like Bill Gates, and or you have world money like Amazon's Bezos, or American. You'll live much better life than them. So so
Yeah, some
yeah,
powerful examples you gave there, Vineet. That's exactly. I think people will be able to connect to it. And then, as you said, communication workshop. I think that is where I think you can learn a lot of things about. sorry, a lot of things about the personal human needs that are essential for everyone. Like we
Mhm.
are, we sometimes. I mean, most of the times we take it for granted. But then we should. That is something. These are all the small things we should be concentrating on.
yeah.
Very true.
Thank you so much, Vinit. Yeah. So we come to the last trait, and let's do this. So we can just go. Last trait is personal growth. We'll just talk about why personal growth is important as a leader, and then you can also add your last point, what you want to tell to your viewers as well. So we are already almost on the time. So we just want to go through this. So can you can start with we can start with Dr. Nidhi if you like, if you'd like to go first. Why is personal growth important for everyone? And
See,
especially
when
like
we
if you're
are,
actually becoming leader. Yeah, good.
yeah, I would like to build this particular point from the leadership aspect itself. When we are saying that, we are looking towards a leader, we want some kind of growth. We don't want someone to be a leader who does not have the mindset of a growth, right? If you talk about the politicians, if you talk about voting system, we always try to see the agenda, like if we are feeling that okay, this person, this particular politician or this particular leader can bring some sort of growth or some sort of changes in our life, then we are going to, to give them vote. So this something, the same thing happens in other areas also. Whatever the leadership qualities we want, the growth mindset is the mandatory aspect. If the person does not having the growth mindset, and if he is not reflecting that growth mindset in his behavior, in his, what we would say, in his own wordings or in his own personality, then obviously we will not be able to trust him as a leader, right? As Vinny just mentioned, the, those powerful examples, we don't want to trust upon those people who are not even able to handle their own life, right? We want someone who is balanced, who is able to handle his own life also, as well as he's showing some sort of growth, signs. So that is why for a leader especially, the growth is important, and reflecting that growth to the others is also another aspect. So that is the reason I feel ki, okay, if you are not showing that you are growing in your own field, you are not showing you are growing in your own personality, you are not showing that you are growing as a person, then there is no point of you can shine in the field of the leadership aspect. So that is the
Exactly.
point I would like to add.
Exactly. So, would you like to add any last point as well to this who is watching? Like anything you want to add? Anything else?
Right now, though, it's not coming in my mind, but yes,
Okay,
I would
that's
like
fine.
to
We'll come back to you
give it back.
later. We'll come back to you
Yeah,
later. That's fine.
that would be better.
It's always good to hear you, Dr. Anis, so we'll come back to you later again.
Thank you
So,
so much.
yeah. And Sanjeev, you want to go next?
Yes, yes. I want to add to what Dr. Nidhi said, right? As she rightly said, that growth is all about growth mindset, right? Uh, People who actually, and growth mindset, when we say growth mindset, it should be like getting better every day, right? I mean, it's rather than comparing with others, let's start comparing with yourself, right? About your yesterday, how you are today, right? And it can also be growth in multi-dimensional, right? It could be growth in your, the way you think. It could be a growth in terms of your physical strength. It could be growth in terms of your financials, right? Why not? It could be growth related to your, things like relationship. It could be growth related to your how you tackle your organization or your work, your career. So, I mean, it's multidimensional. And as long as you are kind of making incremental improvements in all these areas, uh, I think that is what I, take it as
Yeah,
a personal growth. You're growing every day on your personal side.
exactly. Exactly, and one point you added, you both added was about the growth mindset, right? And also, if depending on the situation you're in, it what you think about the situation also like counts to a growth mindset. Like whether
Yeah.
are you looking at it as an opportunity to improve yourself, or are you looking at it as oh, this is why did this happen to me kind of mindset. So it's, I think that's where, like, I think or the personal growth also plays into that, like whether you are actually growing or not, how you look at any
Yeah, I
situation.
think that's a very good point you mentioned, right? It's all about your attitude, right? There are
Yeah,
people who, with a growth mindset attitude, if you are into challenge, you see it as an opportunity to really,
yeah,
do something about it. And there are people who actually kind of, see as a risk, and they will, try to limit what they
yeah,
can do. And that's where, they don't grow.
exactly.
So it's
Yeah,
all about attitude.
yeah. Thanks, Sanjeev. Vineet, you want to add something here?
Yeah, great points, Dr. Nidhi and Sanjeev. I think somewhere the kind of society we are in, the moment we talk about personal, we start taking it as a very egoistic thing, right? I have to do for my parents, I have to do for my child, I have to do it for everyone in the world, I have to do for my dog, but I will not do it for myself. right? So that's so important, that to understand that personal growth, it's like if you don't love yourself, you will not love anyone, right? Jordan Peterson, he's a famous psychologist, and he this segment is his. He says, uh, in a very there's a second rule. There's a book called 12 Rules of Life. The second rule is people treat their dog better than themselves. So they don't love. So, for example, he did a survey, and he found that 50% of the times people don't take their medicines. So even if it's prescribed, they don't take it medicine. But 100% of the times they will give that medicine to their, if something happens to their pet, or let's say their child, they'll certainly take care. They'll make sure that they take the medicine somehow. So when this personal growth happens, some people start thinking, I'm already grown, my hair are growing, everything is growing. Why do I know there needs some more growth, right? Personal growth and all that, right? So it's so important to understand, right? Uh, we have the kind of potential that we carry. It's amazing, right? We are like anyone else, right? If you think about Swami Vivekananda, you Sadgurus of the world, you think about Bill Gates, Ambani, anyone, I think we have same blood, same bone, everything is same, like us, like them. The only difference is that mindset, right? The only difference is that we don't believe on ourselves. The only difference is we don't love ourselves, that yeah, if they can do, I can easily do that, right? Just that I have my unique strengths and all that, I have to find that out. So the moment you are into personal growth, you start getting more aware about your strengths. As the moment you do your CIR, you do your assessments, career impact report, you sit with coaches, you sit in this kind of setup where, somebody like Dr. Nidhi, somebody like Sunji, right, somebody like Jayant, right, who all have kind of like-minded people from the growth perspective. So we start co-creating many ideas, we start co-creating many thoughts, right, that might have not emerged when I'm alone. But the moment I sit in the community, in the association of like this, or we meet on Saturday 9 p.m., or when we meet on Sunday 4 p.m., all those things start coming up, right? So personal growth is all about optimizing yourself, taking to your peak level, to your peak potential. That's why we call peak impact mentorship. That's why we call unlimited potential inside, right? Because this is what happens to you the moment you start working on a personal growth. You start optimizing yourself, and the moment you optimize yourself, you can be a great help for others. So again, Peterson says that if you are clear, if you know that this dog is important for you, you should start thinking about yourself that you are important for so many other people. And if you know that this person can help so many people, this girl can help so many people, then you should care like that only. When let's say you love your Prime Minister Narendra Modi a lot, right? uh, and you want to care for him, or let's say you care for a child, you care for a family, you care because you think they can do something for you, right? So similarly, if this guy can do so many things for so many people, why don't we work on our personal growth? I think that's so important. In India, this concept generally doesn't happen to everyone, and this is a community which can actually, there are so many other communities, but this community I've been part of since last 3-4 years. I have grown a lot, and people who are here, they have grown a lot. So explore such kind of community where you will get to know what is personal growth. And it's like watching a Bahubali movie. When you sit there, only when you will experience, right? So you should be part of some association, and then see how personal growth can impact your life the way it has done with all of us. That's the end of my speech. Back to you.
That
It was a bit too
awesome.
long.
I mean, we're all engrossed in your speech, Vinit. So we're just listening to you and then speak. So yeah, I mean, Vinit, like you added like great points that about personal growth and how, like as a community here, we are all helping others grow and also helping ourselves grow, right? So that's why, like, it's important that we all get into this association, this kind of association, and then start improving ourselves, start investing on a personal growth. And that's a great example, Vinith, and
I like this
great
name.
thoughts.
Jayant, I like this name, Mr. Vinita.
Yeah, I saw that.
So thank you so much, Vishma. Thank you so much.
She's my friend from back the days of NCC days. In
Wow.
2009, we met. Yeah.
I had seen your photo on Facebook, I believe, right? You and probably your father was there, right? In that NCC dress. Amazing.
Yeah.
Very
That
nice.
was the year 2007, I guess.
Oh,
That time I was going for my first camp, so that was
Awesome.
the memory from there.
Cool. Yeah.
So, Dr. Nidhi, you want to add now? Add any points now?
Yeah, I would, you guys have already summed it up very beautifully. And just into that particular concept, I guess my quote is also going to match this concept here, that every individual and every human being has the capacity and instinct of leadership, but most of us do not have the will and courage to cultivate it. And because of the this particular mindset, we are not even able to think that okay, we could be able to convert into something better. And this is the time when we are not having this courage and the risk taking capacity. Then we feel okay, it's okay, we are not thinking about the growth, our hairs are growing, and that is more enough, more than enough. This growth is that is enough for me. So this is the point. You need to come out from your comfort zone. You need to take some risk, and then you will be able to find yourself into a different scenario where you will be growing with your own personal growth, not just those things.
Yeah.
So that's the message for today.
Awesome.
Awesome. Awesome, Dr. Nidhi. Thank you so much. So, we are at the end of this hour already. We have just talked more than an hour. So, great talk, awesome talk. We didn't realize that we spent so much time. And yeah, before we end, um, I think we all of us, Dr. Nidhi, Sanjeev, Vineet, all three of them actually added a lot of valuable points, a lot of valuable tips that can enrich your life if you have watched this video. And then if you want to be part of this community, you can contact any of us, any of us in this panel, or you can visit our website as well, and our Facebook page, any of the places you can contact us. And tomorrow again, at 9 p.m., we have the next session of PIM session on leadership. It will be as amazing as the topic we chose today, the topic we talked about. So be sure to be part of that session tomorrow. Thank you so much. Have a great night and have a great weekend. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone.
Thanks,
And
Jen.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
bye, 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 bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.